Poison our water, 'cause that's what we drink.
This is Michael Silver-Gietz. He was our first interviewee and works part-time at the aquarium and otherwise teaches marine biology.
We have acid rain is caused by pollution that gets up into clouds, like I believe sulfur dioxide and other things given off by factories, and that pumped into the air. It ends up in the clouds and then falls down as rain. It probably has an effect on, it's not a big problem here in Western Canada. I know it is an issue further east where there's a bit more industry. I would imagine it would have a problem in the surface, perhaps, where like during heavy rain. It probably gets diluted so that it's an overall small impact compared to other forms of pollution that are much more concentrated or larger volumes. And it also affects rock erosion, which would then be washed into the water as well. So it probably has localized impacts, like in small areas. I think it has a few different impacts on our, it will have different impacts on our daily life. First of all, we depend on seafood for food. Obviously it's affecting things like that live in the water. About 2/3 of the population on the planet depends on seafood as their major source of protein. So whatever affects our seafood will have a major effect on our food supply in the future. We also depend on the water for, obviously whatever happens there is also washing up on our beaches. It's unsightly, it's not pleasant. And we go swimming in the water. People depend on the ocean for their livelihood, whether it's fishing or recreation or things like that, and so it'll have a huge impact on our economy as well if these areas are not healthy ecosystems.
We went to the beach to interview people about what they thought of water pollution.
It's not really much we can do about it. You try and control the refuse, but that's about it.
I think if they're searching the bottom for garbage, there's two main things. First of all, the area that they can cover would be very limited, I would imagine. They're going to be searching a very small area. So it's going to have an impact on a very small part of the problem. And most of the garbage floats to the surface. Most of the garbage that we have is things like plastic and foam and stuff like that is on the surface. And I guess if they do find something, how can we remove it? Does that mean sending a submarine down to retrieve it once it is found? I think that would be very expensive as well, and you might as well just use a submarine in the first place.
You cut me down.
So what do you think about water pollution?
I think it's awful. Yeah, something needs to be done about it.
Do you have any opinions about it?
I just think water pollution, any kind of pollution, needs to be dealt with, needs to be solved. More money needs to be put into cleaning it up, I guess. Yeah, but it's us that's doing it, right? So, yeah.
I think the lab itself is fine. We've had underwater labs, a few of them, not a large number, for many decades. What I would be concerned about is what those people living or working in those labs are doing with their waste or their garbage and things like that. I would hope that it's all brought back to the surface. But I'm not sure, especially because some of these labs were opened many decades ago before we really understood the problems. So it could be the same sort of problem as, say, garbage from a ship or things like that.
Both dolphins, Helen and Hannah, were found in fishing nets off the coast of Japan at separate times. Both were taken to rehabilitation facilities in Japan. Helen was rescued in 2001 and Hannah was rescued in 2003. Hannah was really hungry, almost starved, and Helen had significant damage to her pectoral fin. They removed that part of the fin in order to save her life, all caused by a stray fishing net. They were evaluated by the Japanese government, and the Japanese government thought that they were safer and healthier in an aquarium facility, and they were brought to Vancouver in 2005.
While we were at the beach, we found a lot of beer bottles by the ocean.
Well, that's where I belong, and you belong with me. And I could write it down or spread it all around, get lost and then get found, or swallow.
Tell you, ladies, I think that if more people realized that if they cleaned up after themselves, then none of us would have much to do and there wouldn't be any pollution. The reason we have pollution is that there's lazy people that leave their own garbage for someone else to take care of. And if we all realized that if everybody did a little, then no one would have to do a lot. And it would all be done, wouldn't it?
Yes, it was.
Pollution is quite simple, really. It's all about us taking care of our own business. Do we all want to go and be messy and dirty? I heard you say we're going to have a shower because you feel like it's time to have a shower. Well, isn't that the same as people throwing their garbage out the window?
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. So pollution is an unnecessary evil that exists because of laziness in the human person.
You
Does
cut
that make
me
sense?
down a
Thank
tree,
you so much. Thank you.
brought it back to me, and that's what made me see where I was going wrong. You put me on a shelf and kept me for yourself. I can only blame myself, you can only blame me. And I could write a song 100 miles.
Hello, miss. What do you think about water pollution?
Well, I think that water pollution is a very bad thing, and if it continues, the world is going to end forever.